Nah, I'm playing. But I think Ja Morant might be the most unintentionally pro-Second Amendment player in NBA history. Well, actually, I think Karl Malone probably holds that title. The man wasn't just pro 2A, he was a board member of the NRA.
When you walk through this racetrack and people see you and see the NRA logo and didn't know, they know you as the basketball player, the mailman, but they don't know you as an NRA board member. What kind of surprise reactions do you get, and what do you say back to them?
Well, the first thing they say is we didn't know. And then the second thing I say to them is ever since I was 5 or 6 years old, my mom bought my first 410 breakdown shotgun single shot.
So yeah, while most players were working on their mid-range jumper, Karl was out here fighting for gun rights like he was the LeBron of the legislative battlefield. Ja, on the other hand, he's doing it unintentionally. One Instagram live and imaginary grenade toss at a time. Remember when Ja Morant decided to live stream from a strip club while waving around a Kel-Tec PF9 like he was trying to get kicked out of John Wick 5? Yeah, that Kel-Tec. The one that looks like someone melted a high point in the microwave and said, perfect. And just like that, Ja Morant got suspended, lost endorsements, and was publicly forced to say, I'm sorry, guns are bad.
It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence.
However, here's what he should have said.
I know the fucking Constitution, man. And I know George Washington didn't fight against goddamn British tyranny just so that nerdy nigga Adam Silver could slap me with a $75K fine, because the Second Amendment clearly states that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Everyone knows it's my fucking birthright to have a firearm. Don't matter if it's a Glock or a finger gun.
Okay, maybe that's a bit much. But except, here's the thing. Ja Morant clearly doesn't think guns are bad. He just thinks he's bad with guns, and he's kind of right. He didn't stop there. After the suspension, the rehab stint, and the PR-approved apology tour, he came back with a new celebration, the tactical reload. Then came the imaginary Glock.
Some form of gesture there. You can make that what you want. And then Buddy Hield kind of responded.
But now we've got the I pulled the pin, and y'all got 3 seconds grenade toss.
Playing at this level, look, he's shooting since he's come back off the...
At this point, if Ja dropped 30 points in a playoff game, I halfway expect him to pull out a Claymore and yell, enemy AC 130 above. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Ja Morant's grenade toss is probably one of the best celebratory moves I've seen in basketball history. I think it's fucking phenomenal. And yes, I'm biased and kind of a child. I'm a firearm guy. Arms, firearms, basketball, I connect the dots. But personally, I think it's actually pretty damn dope. I never actually had a problem with the finger gun thing. I grew up playing basketball. Basketball is competitive. There's trash talk, there's swagger. I remember anytime I would hit a 3 in practice in somebody's face, I'd call them a biatch. That's just part of the game. Then again, I was a very, very toxic basketball player. So this is light work to me. It fits, it's part of the culture. Basketball's always had that energy. Celebratory emotes have always been a part of it, but the NBA, they've been trying to sterilize anything remotely connected to firearms. So when Ja comes out and does what looks like a gun motion or a grenade toss, they panic. That's why Ja catches so much heat. If you listen to the critics, their biggest concern isn't even about guns. It's that the NBA is gonna fine him or tank his career.
I don't. Ja is gonna be Ja, and I feel like players are gonna be players, and they're gonna do what they do. But
they're not mad about the celebration. They're just mad the NBA doesn't like it. But let's be real for a second. Finger guns in a game where you literally shoot a ball? Come on. If you squint too hard, everything looks like a problem. But this is basketball. This is competition. These dudes are getting paid millions to dominate on the court. Let the man toss a grenade after a dunk if he wants to. No, it's not lost on me that the way Ja Morant has been seen with firearms isn't exactly Boy Scout material. Yeah, there's a kind of street component to his imagery, and whether that's deserved or not, I don't know. That's not what I'm here to dissect, but I get it. If you don't really understand where Ja's coming from, his look, his demeanor, his energy, it can come off like some street shit. And frankly, some of those videos, yeah, they come off like some street shit. No, they don't come off like some street shit. Some of the videos are just street shit. But here's the thing. Ja isn't a street dude. Not really. He might dabble in the aesthetic, flirt with the persona, but deep down, this ain't that. And that brings me to the bigger picture. This video isn't just about Ja Morant. It's about the perception of firearms. For the longest time, gun ownership in America was painted as this backwoods hillbilly conspiracy cult. A bunch of unshaven dudes in the woods with tinfoil hats and AR-15s who want to overthrow the government every Tuesday. And that imagery, it worked. That's what the anti-gunners used to scare people away from the Second Amendment. They didn't say, you don't need a gun. They said, do you want those guys to have guns? It was never about safety. It was about ostracizing an entire community of law-abiding gun owners. But now, that narrative doesn't work anymore. And why? Because of social media. Now people can see that the gun community isn't just about one type of person, it's a spectrum. Yeah, you still got your backwood conspiratorial yahoos, and honestly, I want them here. I like them here. We need them here. But we've also got regular suburban moms, urban professionals, tactical gearheads, bougie city shooters who treat guns like they're pieces of art. And yes, NBA superstars who celebrate dunks like they just cleared a room in Rainbow Six. America is a fucking beautiful mosaic of gun ownership. In most countries, it's only the government that's armed, or a very narrow slice of the population. But here in America, everybody got a gun. And that's not chaos, that's freedom. The rest of the world looks at us like we're insane for allowing it. Good, let them, because they're not used to freedom. They're used to oppression. We're not. We're used to choice. We're used to having the tools to defend ourselves. And that includes people who look like Ja Morant. And that's what scares the anti-gun crowd the most. So no, Ja Morant isn't the poster child for responsible gun ownership. But what he is proof that firearm culture is everywhere. Even in a league that pretends like it doesn't exist while hiring armed security for every game. Imagine if instead of punishing Ja for pantomiming a gun, we encouraged him to learn how to use one the right way. Imagine if we leaned in and used his influence to show people how diverse and powerful the gun community really is. But no, they'd rather put him in a room with a therapist and pretend finger guns are the real issue. Ja Morant is like that friend who stumbles into a protest and accidentally becomes the face of the movement. He doesn't mean to be pro-2A, he just is. So yeah, next time Ja throws a grenade celebration after crossing someone over, just know, deep down, somewhere in his subconscious, he's doing it for the Second Amendment. Okay, maybe not, but you get my damn point. Oh, and before you go, let me put it like this. In basketball, court awareness keeps you in the game. At the gun range, situational awareness keeps you alive. That's why I run the AKT1 blackouts. These aren't just ear protection. They're elite level gear for shooters who take performance seriously. With a 25 NRR rating, active noise blocking, a transparency mode that lets you hear what's happening around you while you're still protecting your hearing from the damaging sound levels, these are like having court vision for your ears. And yeah, they're Bluetooth enabled, so you can take phone calls and listen to music or listen to a podcast while you're loading mags or walking the range. All in one sleek, low profile design, and it doesn't make you look like you borrowed gear from an aircraft carrier. You want a pro level awareness without sacrificing protection? Grab the AKT1 blackouts at shop.mrcolionnoir.com, because whether you're pulling up from the arc or pulling triggers at the range, your hearing matters. So click the link in the description section of this video. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.